What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today, I got to admit that I have been sleeping on PWS. Like, I always knew they made a nice rifle. I did not realize how nice until I got my hands on this, shot it a whole bunch, and it is an extremely nice rifle. So today, we have the MK116 MOD2, and let's get right into it. If you only take two things away from this review, take these two things away. One, it's a long stroke gas system. It's not a normal standard DI, direct impingement AR-15. It's more AK-esque than it is AR-esque with a long piston, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. It's also a fully ambi lower, and those ambi controls are done very nicely. Some companies, when they do ambi lowers, it's kind of a hot mess. This is not. It is done extremely nice. All right, so the furniture. It comes with Bravo Company furniture, BCM furniture. I like BCM furniture. Probably my second favorite company. I used to use that on all of my builds. The stock is nice. Has a slot for QD slot for a sling. The grip is really nice. I'm a big fan of BCM grips. Locking compartment, good texture. I like the angle. Like I said, I am a big fan of BCM grips. I threw this foregrip on here. The foregrip does not come with it. I just had this BCM foregrip laying around, and I said I might as well throw it on the gun for the review. I also threw a cloud light because they make the best rifle lights. I threw a Neomag Sentry strap on to manage my sling, which I never put on the rifle. Primary arms 1 to 6, which I've already reviewed. And I put this stock sock from Blue Alpha on here. These things always look unique and cool and interesting to me, so I grabbed one, I threw it on, and eventually I'll do a video on that as well. All right, the buffer tube has some unique scalloping cut into it. Looks pretty cool. I'm not sure if it actually serves a purpose. Maybe drain water. It's a 6-position buffer tube. The unique part, though, is really going to be the castle nut. The castle nut is not staked. Shame on you, no. It's okay that it's not staked. It's actually a ratcheting castle nut, so don't get mad at PWS. But there's a little pin, detent, whatever they call it in there, and it ratchets down so it can't back off. So hopefully it's as durable as it looks and as I think it is, because it's a pretty unique and cool setup. The end plate does also have a QD slot. If you want to run a sling in there, you can do so as well. Charging handle is from Radian. Radian makes one of the nicest. There's others that are just as nice, but I don't think there's a charging handle better than Radian. It does have the PWS logo on there. It has the little ledge to limit some of the gas coming back in your face. If you're shooting suppressed, then this is a great suppressor host if you want to shoot it suppressed, but it comes with a Radian Raptor. Alright, before we do our trigger talk and get up close and personal with the trigger, I want to quickly thank the sponsor of the video and give me 20 seconds. The sponsor is Virtual Vtact, those foam and rubber composite dummies you see behind me, training, shooting dummies. They are 2.5 pounds, they last thousands of rounds. You can repaint them and shoot them over and over and over and over and over again. The link down in the video description will take you over to Amazon if you want to check them out. If you want to elevate your training, as they say, they are a lot of fun, and it's a great way to make your training a lot more realistic. And yeah, see, quick and easy. All right, the trigger. The trigger is a nice single-stage trigger. If you like single-stage triggers, I think you will be a big fan of this trigger. There's very little take-up. It is a good short reset. It's only about 5 pounds. It breaks around 5 pounds. The reset is very tactile and audible, which is most important to me. I personally prefer flat-face triggers, but there is nothing wrong with this trigger. You're very capable of getting whatever, assuming you have the skills. The gun and the trigger is very capable of doing whatever you need it to do. As always, we're going to take that 10-second break and get up close and personal with the trigger so you can see it, smell it, touch it, taste it, feel it, and you can decide if you like the trigger or not. What'd you think of the trigger? Not bad. It's not my favorite trigger, but I don't see a need to replace it. It's more than capable. All right, the ambi settings that I mentioned earlier, let's talk about those a little. The safety, for example, again, it's ambi. On the right side of the gun, so if you're a right-handed shooter, where your trigger finger is, it's smaller than the other side of the gun, which is great, so it's not going to dig into your hand, and obviously you lefties can reverse that if you want to. The magazine release is also ambi on the right side of the gun. For righties, it's a standard magazine release. If you look on the left side of the gun, there's a little paddle they added underneath the magazine release, and I played around with it with my left hand quite a bit, and it's in a good spot. It's easy to drop the magazine release, no issues there. Bow catch excuse me, the bolt catch and bolt release on the normal side of the gun here is fine. They're both oversized, great texture on both of them, very easy to lock the bolt to the rear and send that bolt forward. But on the other side of the gun, this is where I think they really, excuse me again, really did a great job setting up the bolt catch and bolt release on the other side of the gun, whether it be for your lefties or if you choose to drop the bolt that way. If you put the mag in and drop the bolt, it is a little bit faster. I'm always hesitant to do it because I shoot so many different guns and I don't want to get into that habit and then not have it there when I need it. So I don't train that way, but if this is your main go-to rifle, I don't see a problem using that as a bolt release. But either way, all the controls are ambi. They're all extremely nice. I like them, and one of my two favorite things on this rifle. The upper and lower are both T6 7075 aluminum, as you would expect. They are forged, which is great, and they have a hard coat anodized for durability. The magwell on the lower is huge. It has a huge, great magwell. I like that. Trigger guard has two holes cut in it to lighten it up a little bit. I'm not sure why, but I figured I'd point that out. The upper has the normal shell deflector, has a forward assist. All good stuff, nothing to complain about. Sliding on up to the handguard. The handguard is a 15-inch handguard and a 16-inch barrel. So one, it looks extremely good. It has M-lock all around. The lockup seems very solid. You have two bolts on the left and the right, but also two bolts on the bottom coming up as well. And the lockup is very, very good. I'd have no problem. I would not be hesitant using this as my night vision gun and throwing a laser aiming device on there. I would be A-okay with that. The other unique part of the handguard that I like, it has a cutout on the top to access the adjustable gas block. The adjustable gas block has a setting for low powered ammo like 223, higher powered like M193, suppressor setting, and then an off setting as well. And when we get to the testing part, if you see me shooting the gun over gassed, it's not the gun, it's my fault. I wanted to test it a lot with 223 and 5.56 ammo. I just kept on forgetting to adjust the gas block. So 100% on me. It's really easy to use a screwdriver or a round or the tool that it comes with and just click over from one to the next. It's a great, very easy to adjust that gas block. Give me 2 seconds. I want to take these screws off the handguard and take a look at the barrel, take a look at the gas block and a few other things, and then I'll be right back. That handguard lockup was insanely solid. I would have no problem making this my night vision gun. The lockup was crazy. The handguard does have anti-rotation tabs, I forgot to mention as well, so that doesn't hurt. All right, taking a close-up look at the barrel, I wanted to show you guys a couple of different things. First off, the barrel is 16.1 inches, chambered in 223 wild, 4150 steel, which is fine, 1 in 8 twist. Definitely liked the heavier grain bullets, and the furthest we could take this out and shoot was 300 yards, which was very, very easy to do, especially with the low power variable optic. It can handle a lot more, but Rhode Island sucks, and that's as far as I can shoot out. What I want to show you is, one, I want to get you a nice close-up of the adjustable gas block so you can see exactly how it works and gets adjusted and all the different settings on here. The channel, the tube that you see behind the adjustable gas block is what the long stroke piston system rides in. That's normally where you would have a gas tube, and this is where the piston system rides in, which we're going to take a look at in just one more second. The gas block on here is threaded on, so it's really on there. I'm assuming they have some sort of Loctite or something on there as well, and there is a little tiny bit of gas seepage. If you look, it's a little dirty in there. Not a big deal. Figured I'd point it out. The muzzle device is very, very aggressive. It's a very soft shooting gun. It shoots extremely nice, but if you're worried about flash, that is not the muzzle device for you. You probably want to swap that out. All right. Finally, let's take a look at the inside of this. Let's take a look at the long stroke gas system, because that's the whole point of this rifle. So pulling back on the BCG, on the charging handle, the BCG comes right out, and then so does the long stroke piston system. So you'll see the charging handle has a hole in the front, and it actually rides on the piston system. The piston does come apart. Oh my God, my eyes. Let me see if I can find, there's two little flats on there that separates the piston in two different pieces. I can't even see. I got to put my glasses on. And this thing is disgusting. If you need to swap the charging handle out, if you have a problem or anything like that, you can do so. Now, the carrier itself, a lot of the carrier and a lot of the parts on it are standard BCG. The cam pin, the carder pin, the bolt itself, the carrier, all very, very standard. What part that comes in unique, what normally would be the gas key, screws right into the carrier, and that's what attaches to the long stroke piston system. So the unique and the advantage of a piston system, one, you're not introducing all that gas back into the gun. With the DI gun, you're putting all that gas back in, and if you're shooting, especially if you're shooting suppressed, they get very, very dirty. So typically, a piston gun like this is going to shoot a lot cleaner. Now, the short stroke piston systems, a bunch of guns have been short strokes, and those typically get carrier tilt because the piston is much shorter. When it gets pushed to the rear, the carrier tends to tilt, and that's when you get premature wear on your carrier. With the long stroke, it's a lot less likely to happen because it gets pushed, and physics and wow, cool stuff gets pushed right to the rear, and you're a lot less likely to get carrier tilt. Especially on the receiver itself and the buffer tube, there's this little adapter piece. Again, I forget what they call it, but the carrier is kind of already riding in the buffer tube. You'll see the BCG has a little spring on it as well. Not the BCG, but the bolt itself has a little spring on it. And all of those things help to make sure you don't get any carrier tilt. What I'm going to do is, right now this thing is filthy, disgusting, gross, but the B-roll you're seeing, I'm going to wipe this down really, really good and clean it really good before I roll in any B-roll. As I see it now, with it dirty, it looks absolutely like there's no wear on it. It looks really, really perfectly clean, brand new. But once I clean it and we do some close-ups, we'll know for better. H2 buffer in there as well. All right, weight, price. This thing's around $2,000 MSRP. Street price is less. I will put some affiliate links down in the video description. And yes, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I do think it's worth that price all day, every day, and twice on Sunday testing. Now, I've had this thing for about 4 months. I have shot this thing a lot. You'll see some footage of me shooting this in a t-shirt, a nice warm sunny day, and you'll see me shooting this in a coat because it's now January and it's ice cold, freezing. I had a couple different optics on here as I've been testing different optics. I shot it on some very, very cold days recently. When I got it, I did lube the carrier and whatnot up. I haven't cleaned it since. So I put about 800 rounds through the gun, and I didn't clean it or lube it since the day I got it. And you'll see the drills and the type of shooting I did. Lots of plinking, lots of playing around, lots of comparing it to the DD4 R3, which I'm going to do a video comparing the two because there are some similarities and price similarities as well. One day I did a ton of shooting from a barricade. I haven't done barricade work in months, in a very, very long time, and I was really rusty. By the end of the day, I was caught back up, and I was doing much better. Of course, we shot our foam rubber dummies, our friends Walter. They are the sponsor of the video, and of course, we put some rounds through Walter just so he can enjoy what it's like seeing a primary weapon system gun pointed at him. I'm sure he loved it. Anyway, 800 rounds, no issues, no problems, zero malfunctions, not one failure to feed, failure to fire, no issues of any kind. The two biggest pros, you're not going to be surprised on what I have to say. It's the long stroke gas system, very unique, works well, especially if you're shooting it suppressed, and the ambi controls. They did a great job with the ambi controls. I think the rifle is very aesthetically pleasing. It's made in the US, and PWS is making most of the parts themselves, which is great. A lot of these companies are just putting together parts other folks make. They are doing it themselves. The handguard is great. The adjustable gas block is awesome. The M-lock, how tight of a fit it was incredibly tight fit. I can't get over. It was much more snug than I thought it was going to be. Rating charging handle, that's good. Trigger's decent, and Bravo Company furniture I like. Cons. I wish I got a shorter version of this. I love this gun a lot, and if this was like an 10 to 12 inch gun, 10 to 13 inch gun maybe, this would absolutely be my main night vision gun, and I would shoot this gun. It'd be my main squeeze, my main boo. No doubt it would be. Overall, it's a great gun. I was very pleasantly surprised how nice it was, as I said a few times. The only thing I want to caution you, if you're buying one rifle and you're only going to have one rifle, you may want to consider a direct impingement gun because there's no proprietary parts. And if something breaks, something goes wrong, especially God forbid if end of the world zombie apocalypse or something, and you can swap parts very, very easily. With this, it's a great gun, but there's some proprietary parts. So if you're going to have other AR-15s in the case of an emergency, no big deal. And even not in the zombie apocalypse. God forbid, this is your main rifle, it breaks, you're waiting for PWS to send you a part, and someone breaks into your house, and this is your best and only way of defending yourself. So if this is your only gun, maybe stick with the DI gun, or consider it at least. If you have other AR-15s, this should definitely be on your list if you're willing and able to buy a premium, nicer, higher end gun. This should definitely be on the list. All right. I bet this is a long video, so I'm going to let you go now. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Primary Weapon Systems, for the support. I greatly appreciate it. Affiliate links down in the video description. Sponsor of the video, that goofy dude back there named Walter, foam, rubber, composite, training dummy, link is down in the video description. We have some swag. I wanted to talk about my swag, and then I realized I forgot to put it on. I'm wearing my Neomag shirt. That's okay. Once again, Neomag is awesome. It's my employer, by the way, if you don't know. But we do have swag. We have Tiberious swag and patches. If you want to support the channel, the link is also down in the video description. If you don't want to buy swag, and you don't want to buy a dummy, and you don't want to buy a primary weapon system rifle, that's okay. Just do me a favor and like, comment, subscribe, enable the bell notification. Santa says he would love for you to subscribe to this channel. I would appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace!